all started with conception, I guess. Isn't that how it works? No, I'll be realistic. Cliché, perhaps. It really started when I was born.
Twill be named suit McGoot, so saith I.
Checkers was always very mean to me.
What are you doing to that baby?
Giving it what it deserves for having been born into such a cruel world.
I grew up a lonely, malnourished boy.
Father, I'm hungry.
Maybe you should stop acting like a fucking Catholic and get a job.
Father, I'm lonely. I want a friend to play with.
No, you're not. You're just maturing sexually is all. If you had a mother, this wouldn't be a problem.
There are other children in this neighborhood. Why aren't I allowed to play with them?
Because they're all mushriks in kafir suit. They're infidels. I won't allow it. You've ruined my evening. Put that down. Go inside.
You know, this would be a lot easier if I could see.
Where was I? Oh, yes, my father. Deep down, underneath all the abuse and aggression, I think he loved me.
Come on, look at me. Look at me when I'm talking to you. Listen, are you listening, Suit?
I'm listening.
You have to succeed in life, boy. You understand that? When I was a child, I had a name. Everybody knew the name Checkers Gibran, right? I had something going. And then I had you. And you're all I have. Come here. Bless your father, boy.
Alhamdulillah.
Thank you. Have you finished your dinner?
Yes.
Okay, go to your room, now.
Yes, but soon enough it was war, and Checkers had to go off to fight, which left me to my own devices in the real world.
Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord. He is trampling out the vintage where the grapes of wrath are stored. He hath loosed the fateful lightning of his terrible swift sword. His truth is marching on. Glory, glory, hallelujah.
Are you Mr. Duchamp?
Indeedy I am, and who might you be?
Suit McGoot. I'm Checkers to Bronze Boy.
Ah, of course. Say, where is he?
In a trench somewhere, I suppose.
Ah, yes. War is such a nasty business, but necessary all the same. What can I do you for, McGoot?
I'm looking for work. Something to support the nationalist cause.
Well, sorry if I'm the first one to tell you this, but you don't have a salesman smile. How does a nice, bureaucratic job sound to you?
Is the rate livable?
Is it livable? Seriously, McGoot, you're killing me.
Well, is it? And so, I started my life working at the Bureau of Internal Affairs.
Your assignment for the foreseeable future is to examine the ongoing situation regarding two women suspected of conceptual terrorism and sabotaging the war effort. How dare they? Their names are
Linda Oganicaro and Francine Canada.
Make sure you have a pencil ready, you silly goose. The password to the video feed monitoring their activity is KS2661VVIQOL74JM. Did you write that correctly?
I did.
Good. Now type it into your portal and provide a transcript of every word, hot stuff. And remember, each error will deduct points off your salary. Now do your part to ensure the purity of our nation.
So, what do you want for lunch? It's not rocket science. What do you want? What was the question? For lunch. What do you want for lunch? It's lunchtime? 2 o'clock. Yeah, I agree. So, what do you want?
I don't know. What do you want?
I don't know. I was hoping you would decide.
I picked last time. You pick.
Sandwiches?
Okay. Places around here?
Well, there's the new one that opened down the street.
That's the bakery?
No, North Bear. Next to the coin launcher.
You have a sandwich shop?
Saw it on my way coming in. Don't you live the other direction? Yeah, but I had to jog further down to stop at the rug shop. Right. Dog peed on the rug. Which rug? One in the back. Well, the new one's just like the old one. They managed to have the same type of stuff.
Great.
Mm-hmm. good.
Yep.
Well, anyways, I saw it on my way in today and it looked good, so I thought we'd go there.
Where?
The sandwich shop.
Oh, it's lunchtime?
It's 2 o'clock. Yeah, guess that means it's lunchtime. You know what they have? Sandwiches. Oh, that's good. I was hoping I'd have a sandwich today.
Yes, it was important work, that with the Bureau. Many would eventually say that it was we who contributed to our nation's eventual victory. But, more importantly, through working there in the offices, I made a few friends, and we eventually formed the ever-popular band, the Ronald McDonald Suppository Symposium.
So, you're in the middle of your second tour. How are things going with the rest of the band?
Well, you know, me and the boys, they don't really fucking know how to clean up after themselves, and they don't remember that on the tour bus, you're not supposed to do a number 2, you're supposed to wait till you get to the venue. So it's a little bit stanky, if I'm being honest. But, you know, we'll live.
And, you know, your third album, when released, received rather poor critical reception. What do you have to say on that?
Well, I think that my creative vision isn't really being expressed through the music of the band, and I think if I were getting a bigger share in that, if I were getting... Will you please shut up?
Fuck you.
Fuck you!
Fuck you!
Alright. What's the square root of 201?
Thought we were going to ask questions about the band.
Oh yeah, no, I'll get to the questions about the band, but first, what do you think about the Indonesian independence movement?
What?
Thanks for your time. So, what do you have to say to us, Sue?
Well, I've been really reading a lot of Goethe recently. His points about the necessity of eggs in the preparing of cake is really interesting, and I think could be used to great effect at the Bureau of Internal Affairs. Our cakes are always very, very dry and terrible, much like the Fourth Piano Concerto of Beethoven. It goes on for far too long, and who even likes G major as a key anyway? Although, speaking of G major, you should know that one of our songs on the third album, called whatever the fuck, I don't fucking remember, uses G major as the Mixolydian hyperdominant of the key of E double flat, which is a really interesting use of polytonality
So
and
the
microtonality.
paparazzi has taken a few pictures of you with a yellow-haired young man. Do you care to comment on that? All right.
My involvement in a group of such a nature led to an inevitable series of brief love affairs, which I won't spend the time delving too much into. But eventually, like most men of my age and status, I settled down and married a man far younger and more naive than I, and we suffered at each other's vile hands for many years.
David, did you touch the thermostat?
I don't know what you're talking about.
It seems to me to be a few degrees warmer in here than is economically advisable.
Maybe if it weren't so goddamn cold in here, people wouldn't change the thermostat.
So you admit to it?
I admit nothing. You have no proof.
I don't need proof to know.
Oh, so you're some kind of king of the thermostat now, huh? Poobah Supreme, here cometh the Iceman, Suit McGoot.
I don't want to hear it.
Well, I don't care, you temperature-sensitive bitch.
David, you've made a terrible mistake. Today, you die.
Aw, baby's gonna throw a tantrum. Baby's too warm, so he's gonna end his 5-year marriage with the $2 shit-steel aluminum alloy butter knife he bought at the department store.
I just might if you keep that anus of a mouth running like it is.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Then I might as well come clean. I'm having an affair.
The hell if I care. You may have been a sweet piece of ass 5 years ago, but I see now you are no long-term investment.
Well, maybe it'd be a bit better if you could get it up regularly, but I see that you may be past your prime as well.
You know, you're right. I am past my prime. Perhaps I should just kill myself instead.
No, I didn't mean
No,
that.
go. Be free. Live your life on your own while there's still time.
No, there is no life without you, Suit McGoot.
I'm sorry, but you'll have to learn to get by. My will is in the chiffonier. Forward it to the proper authorities. Don't bother calling an ambulance. They'll be far too late, and I don't want you wasting the money.
Please, I love you.
Oh? Is that so?
Yes, oh yes. Please, I love you.
Well, if that's the way you feel, I suppose I could go on living.
Yes, there is nothing without you. All hail Suit McGoot.
All hail Suit McGoot. It had a ring to it. So I got in touch with my union representative, and the cult was operational in no time.
Good evening. I'm Eugene Morton, reporting for Cults of Today. Tonight, we examine one of the most disturbing congregations to have appeared in the past century, the cult of the Suit McGoot. Its supporters are perverse and fervid, all identified by carrying signs saying, "All hail Suit McGoot." And who is Suit McGoot, you may ask? Why, only the cult's leader, a man so lurid and disturbed, with a mysterious air about him. Watch out, before your sons and daughters run away to the hands of this lunatic. What will he do next? Stay tuned for more Cults of Today.
But wars, like everything else, must come to an end. And with them, new schools of political thought inevitably emerge.
It was a long war. It was a hard war. It was a war which even Allah cowered from in shame. But now the war is over, and we have to figure out what to do. I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to take this country back from the men who ruined it all those years ago and start a new political regime, a fascist regime for the people.
Oh, good. What is it?
Bread and butter, like usual.
Of course.
Meat of questionable age and origin, wilted vegetables, and a bag of airline nuts.
Well, we'll get through. We always have.
Don't do that. Why do we live like this? Your father's the most powerful man in the country. Surely you could arrange some way to better our situation.
No, I won't let him. He is no longer my father.
Why? Just because he's a fascist?
Don't even say the word.
Suit, you're being ridiculous. Do you think people want to live like this? Just because you know you can escape at any time, you confine yourself to this mimeographic working class identity. You always have. Not that that matters anymore. The military run the state.
Names and papers!
Fuck.
Stop it! Stop! Hands behind your head.
Officer, we're only trying to find your documentation. I think they're in the cupboard.
Right. Yes. Alright. Names?
Suit McGoot.
And you?
David McGoot, bachelor named DeCameron.
Alright.
Officer, are we being detained? What's going on?
Not yet, just a routine inspection.
Do you have a warrant?
Legislative Order Number 506-8 provides all members of the Narajana Strasha express right to carry out unmolested inspection of the domiciles and possessions of citizens on the possible list of political subversives as compiled by the Department of Internal Affairs at ease.
You can't do this.
Mr. McGoot, I would highly advise you to tighten your husband's lip.
David, just do what he says.
You can't do this. He is Wazir Jabran's son.
You gotta be fucking kidding me. That's the silliest thing I've heard all day. You're Wazir Jabran's son?
No.
Wazir Jabran has no son.
Amen.
Now, if you'd let me get back to my job. You know, the Department of Marriages and Civil Unions doesn't suggest a high likelihood of success in a marriage between two twinks.
I am not a twink.
My handy police profiling sheet would disagree with you, sir.
Could you please just finish and get out of our house?
And what is this?
Shit. Kindling.
Citizens David and Suit Magoo, you are both under arrest for owning banned literature. I regret to inform you that you do have the right to an attorney if you so choose.
No, that's fine. Our attorney was executed last Tuesday.
Oh, really? What for?
Public urination.
Oh, you hate to see it. God damn it!
Ah, fascist, you stabbed me!
That was my intention.
David was pronounced DOA at the prison. I was not afforded a trial, and so I find myself here, in a field, writing my memoirs in accordance with my dying wish, which was made a right to prisoners only quite recently thanks to our compatriots' passion for the advancement of civil liberties. And I ask myself, where has it all gotten me? My life, a full life, I would venture to say, filled with escapades and lessons, triumphs, failures, good sex, bad sex, far too much anxiety and far too little alcohol. What is it worth? What is its value? Does a life even have a value? The liberal academics prominent throughout my childhood strived so hard to prove this conjecture to be false. The value of a life is infinite, they would say, shouting into the void. How can we place a monetary mark on something so holy, so innate, so human? But present political feelings would suggest the opposite. For life is but a material concept. Humans are no less material than goods like canned bread, sody pop, or prostitutes. And if life is material, then it must have value. Monetary value, quantifiable value. For the quantization, the assignment of value to material things is the very fiber upon which a modern nation is run. The gold, silver, and paper notes of the Baroque period are long done with, and have been replaced with money as a pure concept, pure value, pure ideology. And assuredly, lives of different quality have different value. The question is, and remains, how do we quantify an experience? How is it that value is assigned to the moment I learned to walk, the first words I said, my first kiss? That time on the Ronald McDonald Suppository Symposium's second tour, at a show in Melbourne, Australia, when that old lady of uncharacteristic strength beat our lead singer to death with a mid-1980s Marlboro Red branded collector's umbrella? And how do I stack up? How does my life and my experiences compare to those of others? Does it really matter if I were worth less or more than they? I don't think it matters at all, truthfully. At the end of the day, we're all dirt in the ground, eh? My time to be dirt is approaching rapidly, and I'm no different than any other poor sap out there. All our lives have value, and that value is zero. And yet, I still wish I had a mother, and I still wish I had married someone other than David. I wish my fucking dad had given me some goddamn answers in my childhood, so I didn't have to live my entire fucking life like a shell without an identity, wondering who the hell I was, not knowing why my last name was different, not knowing if there'd be food on the table when I got home, not knowing who would be waiting for me, not knowing if I was even loved by anyone, ever. He never said it. David sure said it a lot, but his opinion never mattered. Shit, I wonder if there's an afterlife. Sure hope there isn't. I remember the theorem of teaching I developed when working as the head of that cult. The elemental shapes, transitory through the fourth dimension, loosely inspired by Platonic solids and the Hermetic Kabbalah. Fire, the tetrahedron, jagged, powerful, yet basic. Earth, the hexahedron, cubic, geometric, it was home. Air, the octahedron, a doubling of fire, the product, yet air is necessary. Water, isocahedron, capital, yet ridiculously complex. But then there were my favorites. Ether, prana, the dodecahedron, absolutely divine. And of course, void, a sphere. Infinitely large, yet infinitely small. Infinitely simple, or perhaps infinitely complex. In the void, it is impossible to tell where you are, or where everything else is, because it isn't anything. So really, the complexity doesn't matter. The size doesn't matter. Because you're the only one there, and it's nowhere. I hope death is like that. Just me. In a small little box where I can't feel anything or hear anything and don't talk to anyone, and I go blind because there's no light. Or maybe it's all light, all the time. Just beams of burning white stabbing through my pupils into my brain until I vomit out all my intestines and curl up in a little shivering puddle on a floor that doesn't exist. Only moments now. I realize I'm stalling, which is bizarre. Maybe it's a subconscious thing. I don't think I'm afraid. But we don't really think we're afraid, ever. Fear doesn't operate like that. It just sits at the back there in your mind, constantly grabbing the controls from a submissive, neurotic psyche. And thus, all the emotions work the brain like that. A never-ending gangbang of consciousness that grabs you as an infant and rapes you till you're cremated. But I've always struggled with that too, because that isn't consciousness, that's just something that smart men say to justify their shitty actions. And I'm not like that. I don't want to be like that. So what, then, is consciousness? How much am I ever really in control of? And that thought right there, that need to take culpability, is that conscious? Or is that another subconscious stimulation making me feel that? How much is me? Is everything me? Or is nothing? It seems like it's neither and both sometimes. And it's always been like that, and I can never be happy with my decisions, and I just sit here and panic until I want to scream. All my life I've been writing this memoir. This little poisonous ticker tape has been playing in my skull from the moment I was born. And how poetic I'm gonna regurgitate it all up. All those years of joy and suffering and a slowly increasing loss of control over my own psychotic impulses the second before I die. That's what it truly is, the value of life, the afterlife, the meaning of fear. Words on a page, typed on a broken typewriter by a man who feels like less than a man because he's got 2 guns to his head. And all that philosophy and thinking and the fancy bullshit, food, money, dinners, love, other people, doesn't mean shit to me anymore. And if I were asked how I would do it all over again if I'd change anything, well, I'd say I wouldn't do it at all. Strangle myself with the umbilical cord. Get it over with while the bread's still fresh out of the oven. God, what a shitty memoir.
Is this your memoir?
Dad?
Did you work hard on it?
As much as I could.
And made the state publish it?
Yeah, Dad, sure.
And that would make you happy.
Yes, it would.
Alright then. You see that, Suit? See this happening? See that? Fuck your dying wish, alright? Men, you know what to do.